the topic I'm talking about is the thing before the thing. It follows the ABCs of learning. The A is the antecedent or antecedent arrangements. So Susan, I really don't get this antecedent. Like what can happen before, I tell my dog to wave and he waves. What happens before my dog gets on the counter and steals the food? There is something that tells your dog to do the behavior. That is what an antecedent arrangement is. It could be a single episode, but more often than not, it's a cascade of episodes or events or influences that create the prompt for the dog to do the behavior. So you would think, no, Susan, I just tell my dog to wave and he waves. Okay, then does your dog wave if you ask him to do it on a busy street corner? Does your dog wave when you are holding a hamburger in one hand? And does your dog wave when you are swinging his favorite toy around really, really fast, or throwing a ball in the air if he loves ball, or if you just dropped a big meatball on the floor and you ask him to wave? Is he going to wave then? Not likely, because the prompt to get that wave behavior is tied up in antecedent arrangements. Now, can we get your dog to wave no matter what? Yes, because once you know what are the antecedent arrangements for each behavior, you're going to be able to eliminate the parts that aren't important and really help the dog to understand the only thing is important. It doesn't matter if I drop food. It doesn't matter if I've got your favorite toy. It doesn't matter if we're on a street corner. If I ask you to wave, you're going to want to wave. It's going to be amazing for you. And so right now, there's a lot of things that influence whether the dog will do the behavior. What is that one stimulus, or what are those few stimuli that encourage him to go, yeah, I can wave, I got it, I can do this. So we're going to focus on what happens before the behavior and not after. Yes, this is true both of dogs stealing from the counter and your dog doing a trick. So what are the things that possibly could influence that? Well, for a lot of people, it's cookies, right? And if you're listening to this going, see, I told you you shouldn't be training with cookies. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, a lot of people will train a trick with cookies in their hands. And so the dog will only do a trick if there are cookies in the hands. I need to see the goods or I can't perform any kind of trick. I need to see payment on the table. It's not like the dog drives a hard bargain. It's not that like the dog's trying to, make sure you're good for your word. It's that you've built that antecedent arrangement into the consequence of getting the reinforcement. And so what we need to do is be able to identify what really are the things that cause my dog to do the thing. And can I eliminate some of those things? So you might say, yeah, you're right, Susan, my dog won't wave unless I have a cookie in my hand. So what if we put cookie in a bowl and put it on the counter and ask for the wave? And you're just going to be patient. Maybe it's going to be a cookie in your kangaroo pouch or in your pocket, out of sight, and then present it. Before you know it, okay, the cookies can be nearby, and very quickly, they could be in another room. We've eliminated one stimulus attached to getting that behavior generalized no matter what. And you're just going to eliminate each of the things that you know are currently attached to the behavior until you have amazing behavior. So what are some of those things that might get attached when we don't want them to? Well, just think of your dog's senses. Things they can smell, see, hear, touch, and taste. So if they can do any one of those 5 things while they're doing the behavior, then very likely all 5 of them have got built into the behavior. So if you only trained when somebody was cooking hard-boiled eggs, that's the only time you trained, then you decided you were going to train one day and there was no hard-boiled eggs cooking, then you would have a much, much more difficult time getting your dog engaged, which is why it's so important when you train that you train in different rooms of the house, different times of the day. It helps generalize good behavior because we're not attaching antecedents to the stimulus to do the behavior unintentionally. We're only attaching the ones we want to attach. But on top of those 5 senses, it could be things like routines. If you do things the same way all the time, if you always open the back door and let your dog go to the bathroom, your dog knows I go to the big bush with the berries, not near the chestnut tree. That's where I always go to the bathroom. And then one day you're away from home, there's no big tree with the bush with the berries. your dog actually will probably not go to the bathroom. It's not unlikely. Some dogs will hold it for 24 hours or longer. So even something as simple as that, I've encouraged you here on this podcast to take your dog out leash, potty them in different locations, attach a cue so that is what we call the discriminative stimulus that tells the dog, now I can pee.